What's up? It's your boy Major 7 from the New Old Heads podcast. We just finished episode 452. Shout out to my man Brother to the Night who was on the episode as well. We talked about a Suno inspired 3-day project from Party in My Living Room featuring Thurs. We talked about more Young Thug calls. This time he was talking about André 3000 and his lack of help for artists in the Atlanta area. And then we also talked about Drake and Drake's transition from an artist to an influencer. Does a lot of gambling online, and he's really grasping for straws at this point from a rap standpoint. He may be actually transitioning into a groomer. If y'all check out this episode, don't forget to hit our Patreon up for our full unedited episodes and a bunch of neat stuff that we have as well. And happy birthday to me. It was yesterday. Peace.
You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7. The brothers in the building. My man Jay Moore. How are you, good sir?
Doing well. Peace, freedom, and reparations.
That's what I'm talking about. My man, brother to the Night is in the building. We appreciate you sitting down with us, King. How are you, sir?
King, don't do me like that.
Good to see you, man.
I'm well. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great.
Yeah,
Thank
peace
you.
and reparations and all that stuff that he said.
Okay, for sure. My man DJ Jay Diff, what's happening, man?
Salutations.
How are you?
Good, man.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
you. Had a good day yesterday.
Good.
Saw some entertaining stuff on the, social media.
You get some good breakfast?
I did. My man Longevity's in the building, sitting in the captain's chair. How are you, sir?
Doing okay, man. Thanks for asking.
You ain't flipping and flapping this week?
Yeah, I was wanting something.
Every week.
So recently, Party in My Living Room collaborated with Suno to create an AI-assisted hip-hop album in 3 days. Now, Thurs says that they are able to tap into real culture, and Crisis says it's no different than using a computer versus an analog sampler. Now, the lines between innovation and exploitation in music are constantly shifting, and this collaboration pushes those boundaries. But is this an application where Suno/AI is good for an artist, or is this the same thing that Timberland's basically been looked at as guilty of?
Everybody's always scared when a new idea comes in. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was afraid of making beats on computers when I started out. Look where they're at now.
My name is Thurs. I'm the founder of Party in My Living Room. We're here today, in partnership with Suno, and we're able to tap in with the real culture that Party in My Living Room is creating, and that is around real artistry, real rappers, real singers, just real musicianship.
The future is here. Everything is a tool when used correctly. Just seeing what Suno has to offer and how, it's a language. You can speak to it a certain way. But what you want from it is it's totally up to you. It's not like it does anything for you. You have to be the programmer. So it was kind of beautiful. It was beautiful to see the possibilities. I was very impressed.
So, I got some stuff to say about this one.
I bet you do.
But what do you guys think the long-term cultural implications of integrating AI into, the creative process in this manner that they're speaking on for hip hop? Do you think this is the type of creation that's sustainable?
Yes.
Well, dang, you said it fast. I was about to let Long cook.
Oh no, you
go
let
ahead.
him cook.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because I'm waiting on Long. Go ahead, bro.
No, I don't have to go first.
Go ahead, bro. I'm just messing with you.
No,
It's all good.
Look, we can fight this as much as we want.
Sure.
And I think we have seen it in the examples when we've had discussions where I feel like, and I think we all feel like the technology is being abused. But it is a situation to where it's like the toothpaste is out the tube now. I think there are people who are going to find practical applications to help them create what I'm seeing from this video, and maybe I have to do a deeper dive into, the work that they've done before. But I'm like, okay, if everybody's in the room and they're writing lyrics, they're performing lyrics, the beats are still being made through traditional means.
They're getting these samples. The samples are generated from
samples
AI.
are generated from AI. This might just be the brave new world that we're going to have to figure out a way to not only criticize, but figure out how to use. Because like I said, for say like the Grammys, I know the Grammys are kind of a sticking point for us here on this show, but it's like, okay, how much can be generated from these AI programs and you still consider it, a human composition? And how much and can that be considered for, some sort of award? Because it's like, hey, you let the computer do 30% of the work. You did the other 70. So is that acceptable when it gets to 50-50? Do we have to draw the line there? I think there are just so many more conversations going to have to be had. But at least with this particular instance, all the people who are creating are in the room. And I think what I've had an issue with is, and I think we've all had an issue with, is it enables you to steal from people who are part of a creative process and then take whatever they've done to the next level and perhaps have the option to leave them out. And I think that's where for anybody who's been watching or listening, the issue we've had with Timberland and AI.
So go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Jump in.
right. So I got a question, because I'm confused by what it is that they're actually sampling. You know what I mean? So when you say that they're, or what the AI is doing, so when you said the AI is creating the sample for them, are you saying because I've seen videos where people will do 1960 soul singer and it's a song about wash your ass.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
So from my interpretation of this, based upon what I've seen, because I just saw the promo video and I saw one other response, was that they are prompting AI, Suno, to generate the samples, and then they are, in return, working together to create the thing that they're doing.
Like adding drums to it.
Adding whatever they need to add to it from that perspective. So it's almost like digging for a record, in a sense. It's kind of the way I'm getting from it. I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, that's...
All right, so
how do you feel about that now that he said that?
I think that's cool.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just because you have artists that can take a certain part of a song and make that the hook. Like if the rapper's making a verse, if I got a song that I want to call Wake Up, I can have a soul singer sing Wake Up, and I could use that every fourth or eighth bar. You know what I mean, to come in. So I think that's not too bad. Instead of having to dig, it's less time consuming. You know what I mean? It's more convenient.
It's convenient
than digging for records and whatnot.
Yeah.
Does it take away from DJs and real crate diggers like Alchemist and Derringer and people they're gonna feel some type of way about it? You know what I mean? Because it's taken away from what made them who they are. You know what I mean? So it's taking the crate digging aspect away from producing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's what Serato did for DJs.
To the point.
I don't think it is.
I think I like that one. But Lone, go ahead and jump in on your thoughts.
I mean, I think here's the thing that, look, I'm a supporter of all these artists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This actually kind of hit me kind of funny. And, I'm a big fan of Thurs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a supporter of a party in my living room. I bought one of their t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I like what he's done for a very long time. Crisis has always been my favorite producer out of that camp.
I agree.
Chuck English is Chuck English. I saw Amon Omari's name pop up on there as well.
Oh, man.
Super talented. These are all artists that I've been supporting when nobody else is supporting. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was really conflicted when I saw this.
Mm-hmm.
I was honestly disappointed. But I'm also on the other side of where, look, man, the original statement was, is this type of creation a sustainable model for artists? I think it depends on how we look at it. Because from one perspective, you can't compete with capitalism. And what is happening here at the root, and I side with the top music attorney, I side with the Needle Drop and the Curtis King and everybody out there that essentially has a lawsuit against Suno, because these samples are being generated from
real
musical works, and there's no contribution being given to the original works that it is pulling information from. I see it as a completely different thing from sampling. I think it's different. I think there's different ethics around each one of those things, right? And we could go deeper into that if we wanted to. But It's different when there is a tech bro who is profiting off of art and culture.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I mean, I guess you could make the argument that a record label in a way, but right. And then there's that.
But at least there's an artist somewhere deep into that paperwork.
Sure. And yeah, so from the ethical standpoint, I'm just going to say, like, I'm not for it, man. Like, and don't get me wrong. I played around with Udio and Suno maybe over a year and a half ago. I've done the same thing. I've made beats doing exactly what they did, typing stuff out, making samples, and made something from it. You know, and I think as far as the ethical lines are concerned, I think it's a lot more ethical than just like generating songs and rapping on them, or just what Timbaland is doing, right? Which we'll probably get into. But to me, it's still a no for me in that aspect. Jay made a good point about it being outside. It's out of the bag. AI is just running rampant. But like, there has to be something in place to, if Suno is pulling information from copyrighted works, I want to know if my music's being used. And we have the technology now as opposed to 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, however long, you know, it feels like 50 years ago, but I'm not even 50. But back when they were sampling was originated, you know, and mainstreamed, we have the technology now. And to me, it's that break the checks off. I think it's like I think it's something that's already being done though. You know what I mean? Because hell, there are, I think it's like crate loops or something like that, loop hackers or something like that. They make beat packs. Yep. And it's the same thing though. Yeah, there was a few years ago, it might have been maybe 2 years ago, they released something on Instagram and I went and listened to them, and it sounded almost exactly like You Can't Stop the Rain. Yeah. But it was not You Can't Stop the Rain. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was somebody singing the harmonies and it had the keys, chords, all of the same thing, but it wasn't that. Yeah. But it sounded very close to it. Similar to that Pharrell lawsuit, probably. Yeah. With, you know. And I think that's probably what this is doing. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt it's because the AI does not just exist on its own. It has to pull in data from somewhere. And if it's pulling in data from copyrighted works and music that exists out there, then it's pulling intellectual property, if you will, from people that exist and organizations that exist. Like Larry Jones, Another Day Part 2. That is from a beat pack. But the difference between the two is I don't know what the original sample is. I can't tell you what the original song is, but it sounds like something. Like I went and Googled, or I went on Who Sampled, you know what I mean, to try to find out what was this, right? And it pulled up a beat pack. Yeah. So I was like, damn. Well, what's that pulling that from? Yeah. Yeah, and that to me, that's the problem. I think it's out of the bag to some degree, but it doesn't mean it can't be corrected. It doesn't mean that you can't put pressure on these tech companies to
do the right thing,
figure out how to do the right thing moving forward. You know, like there was a time when the music industry was deep into, like YouTube almost shut down because of Content ID. YouTube had to figure it out. To me, that's what this is as well. So I'm going to say this and I'll let you talk, Terry, but like, I'm a big fan of Thurs, Amano Mari, Crisis, and Chuck English, but like, I'm on the other side of this. So
I can
jump in, bro.
I really don't got a whole lot to add to that, other than the fact that the whole thing with this AI sampling, it's almost like a lot of people want to use it to be the ones say we're the first to create this type of project, and this is the selling point. So a lot of people might not listen to it, or might not have listened to it before, but they listen to it now just to try to see what it feels like and see if they like it or not. But at this point, I mean, AI and sampling is it's like a cheat code to sampling, because you don't have to pay anybody directly. Like say I sampled Zapp and Roger, and it's, you know what I'm saying, obvious that I sampled that. I have to pay them. I have to cut them a check because I sampled this. With AI, it's taking a mixture of everything out there. It's taking bits and pieces, and then you're not paying anybody. So it's like it's a cheat code essentially.
It's just a different level of exploitation.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's like I feel like right now a lot of people are trying to run with the game because it's new and it's appetizing to try. And I want to be the first person. This group of collective want to be one of the first people to actually come together and do something like that. But at the end of the day, I can't say that I'm excited about it or that I necessarily agree with it 100%.
Well, just like the example you gave with Zapp and Roger, if I type into the prompt, Zapp and Roger type whatever, I know it's probably more to it than that, then automatically Zapp and Roger need to receive some sort of compensation or credit. Yeah. Because even if it's something it's a derivative work essentially a lot of times,
I could just say Ohio Funk and that's going to take from all of them and still create that same similar sound, but it's not crediting one person. Well, then it's still skipping over the whole. Well, I sampled Zapp and Roger. Now I'm sampling this quote unquote sound. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's a dirty game. It's the Wild Wild West right now with this AI shit.
Yeah, and I feel like, don't get me wrong, like I understand, I intimately understand how challenging it is to sample and declare samples and to go through that process as a sampling producer. So I can understand where that's the first thing my mind went to like a year and a half ago. I was like, oh, I can make my own samples and then I don't have to go through this big long headache of doing this. But then the other ethics kind of pop up, around that. But it's like they never really fixed the TrackLib tried. Mm-hmm. TrackLib tried to some degree. But sampling is this very interesting type of very unique art form. And, I'm all for it. And I think it's important. But I think we're in a position right now where we have to put pressure on these tech companies to again, this is capitalism. And
it's capitalism, and there's no ethics involved in this shit. It's only about the money. It has nothing to do with culture.
Yeah. And I think that's an important piece. Like sometimes that gets washed away in the conversation. It's just like, oh, well, it's cool for the artist. Yeah, but who's profiting from it? Yeah. Like who's getting cut out? And the artists are getting cut out. And that's the problem that I have, like, sure, this argument could have been made about sampling, and it can, and it's a different type of conversation. But like, we know better now, and this
people are getting paid from sampling.
And this tech is evolving, and there's no reason why they can't be pressed to make the tech so it works the way that it should to benefit people and not just the bros.
I think what stood out to me was two things. One is the people that were in the video, kind of like what I was wanted to see what Lone was talking about, because it's one thing to see people, say, oh, we're using this and we're benefiting from this. But it's another thing to see people that can slap on their own or have been doing this for a long time at a very high level. And then you see them come out and say, hey, this is the new XYZ and everything is fine. I think that is what I took from it, because there's a dynamic there that comes with that. When you see people that are credible vouch for it, I think that makes it how it's looked at across the board.
It's very surprising.
Yeah, I think it's received a little bit different when credible, actual, what I would deem monsters come out and say, we trying this too.
I was disappointed when I saw it. I was like,
100%, because you know who they are. Yeah, you know who we do. I'm not gonna say we do.
But were you more disappointed in seeing them vouch for it than you were with Timbaland?
Yeah, I was more disappointed with Timbaland.
I was more disappointed with them.
The only reason I say Timbaland is because of his legendary stature. Now, as it relates to who I can relate to more, or whatever that is, that's these guys.
Yeah.
But from a national standpoint, 100% Timbaland, just because of the impact that him using it can have versus what we're talking about.
But this
now.
is par for the course for Timbaland.
Fair.
In my opinion.
That's fair.
So he's had the controversy behind all this stuff. These other people are people that, generally speaking, like they seem like they have morals and shit.
Yeah, that's the part. Because we know we know who they are.
Yeah.
I was surprised when I heard Iman Omari.
Yeah, he's a monster, man. Monster.
He makes his own sound packs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Crisis even. Like
Crisis
and Chuck English are both producers that can make music
Without
original.
samples. Yeah.
You know, and they're good.
They can
you know,
do both.
like
Yep.
so and Mono Mari as well. You know what I mean? So and Thurs is just a super talented rapper who never picks bad beats. So it's, you know.
I asked this though, like, could it be just fatigue, artist fatigue? Because
Creative fatigue?
yeah, you know what I mean?
So I think there's something there with, to me, when I look at this from the outside and I try to put myself in their shoes, number one, it is a big tech company that's trying to collaborate with you, right? But how do you compete with the way that music is moving right now?
You can't.
You know? And that goes back to my first statement is that you can't compete with capitalism. You can't compete with it as an individual. Like, I don't think jumping on board with it and trying to get on the train with it is the answer. I think it's to
Fight the power,
essentially, you know, fight the establishment. And I understand why artists who have been in the trenches doing this for as long as they have made this decision. Like, I get it. I'm just disappointed in the decision.
I think the artists that you just described, Lone, part of them says, I got it out the mud. I know who I am. And my record shows who I've been.
Yeah.
This is just something that I'm trying now to see, you know, if I can put my own spin to it or try to make it a little bit different.
Or
it's
get
what
a
everybody's
check.
doing. Or get a check.
To me, it's about getting a check.
Get a check.
Yeah, to me, it's so this whole group of artists are people that we're familiar with.
Facts.
But
the masses
are not
Yeah.
familiar with this
Yep.
group of individuals. I feel like, and I could be wrong, they may be using this as a springboard to introduce themselves to a wider audience because of the type of project that it is. It's an AI project, and that alone, like I said before, is going to get other ears on it just because they want to hear what the AI situation sounds like, whether they like it or not.
I didn't think about
They're
that.
still introducing them to these artists, and then maybe they're like, well, let me hear what they sound like without the AI.
Only reason I want to disagree with that is because the only people that really care about this are real musicians. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Like the
Only
average
people that care about if it's AI assisted or not.
yeah, the average consumer does not give a damn whether it's real music or AI. They just want it to slap.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that. Like,
It's hot right now. I mean, AI is a hot topic.
I feel like we're getting into more of a. I mean, you see the slang AI slap all the time in the comments, and you know, even with the artwork, it's, you know, it's frowned upon pretty heavily in general. And I don't think it's frowned upon just by musicians and artists in general. I think it's just a disdain for people that appreciate art at a high level. And I would say that in general, where I will agree with you is I do think that we as a society, and I've said this many times, I think that we as humans value convenience way more than the art. And so I think that falls in line with that thinking a little bit.
I think Byron is onto something when he speaks about you want to generalize it and chop it all the way down to the average consumer. We have to remember that we are a niche in terms of how we look at things here because we've done it for so long. So we're kind of like the guys that we're speaking about, right? So we can relate to certain things. But I hate to use the cliche term, but the average Joe, if you will, if you ask him, he's going to be like, I mean, it slaps. I think there's something there, right? I do think there's something there based on what
I'm not disagreeing with that. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. But But I do think it's more. I think it's more than just musicians and artists. I guess.
I agree with you. But like, all right, so like, let's revisit the Kendrick Drake situation.
Oh, we're in trouble now.
Well, Metro Boomin
BBL
created an
Drizzy.
AI sample with BBL Drizzy, which was just supposed to be funny. You know what I'm saying? Drake actually sampled it to rap over. You know, so everybody knew it was AI, and everybody wanted to hear it because it was AI type. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny. So that's the reason why I kind of think that with it being an AI assisted situation, I feel like that's going to put more eyes and ears on it, just for people to kind of see what's going on with it.
Well, this is where when people say, "Oh, it's kind of like Serato," this is the only way I can compare it to Serato. Is how when you go to a party, and people want to hear, they just want to have a good time. They want to hear you play the joints put together in a way that makes asses move. They don't care if you're playing them off of a vinyl record, it's a first pressing, that came out in whatever year, or if it's an MP3 file. They don't even care about the quality of the MP3 file a lot of times.
Convenience versus art, man.
Yes,
that's what it
so
is.
That's the only way I could, because like I said, you talked about the average Joe. He doesn't care, and he doesn't when there are some people who are listening to this particular podcast. They want to have these conversations, and it's interesting to them. But to the average person who's just listening to this project, they may not care at all.
They just want to throw ass.
Exactly.
I agree with that to an extent, but again, like the framing of this that I disagree with is not the tool aspect. I think AI is a great tool. The only problem that I have with this is the fact that it undercuts
the artists.
That's it. So like for the argument, when in comparison to Serato, yeah, I can see that, but Serato is also not undercutting artists or DJs or anything, right?
No.
You can still go out and DJ with turntables and vinyl. Granted, it just makes it easy. It just makes it easier, and this does make it easier. Like, I feel like if the infrastructure is put in place to where like it can benefit the artists that it's originally pulling the music from, I think it's a great tool. I think it's a spectacular tool, to be honest. Yeah. So, I'm all for tools. Like I teach this stuff. Like I'm all for tools. I'm up on the tools before the tools happen. You know what I mean? So, another conversation which we won't have now is stems is another very interesting thing that's going to, I think, create some conversations in the future as well. So
no, for sure.
But
hey, the evolution, we can't stop it. We have to adjust and either figure it out or, like somebody said earlier, just stand in the paint.
Yeah.
So when it comes to supporting other artists, Young Thug, who's been in the news like crazy, criticized Andre 3000. Now, we're going to dissect Thug's claims about Andre 3000's legacy, specifically regarding his support for emerging artists. Now, the nuances of artists' legacies are something we've all contemplated or thought about. This actually adds another layer to the discussion. However, is there a minimum to what someone like 3 Stacks needs to contribute to his own community? So in leaked phone calls, Young Thug alleged that 3000 didn't adequately support emerging artists during Outkast's peak. This follows similar criticisms Thug had voiced about other prominent rappers as well. I think this is crazy, but I want to pose a question. Does an artist of 3 Stacks' stature have a responsibility to nurture the next generation, or is his artistic contribution enough?
I don't think any artist poses that responsibility to nurture somebody else based off of their stardom or lack thereof. I don't think it matters.
Strongly disagree.
You think they're supposed to?
I'm coming to you next. Finish your thought, bro.
I'm gonna finish it because I don't think that's necessary, man. If I actually rock with you and there's a vibe there and you know what I'm saying, I support you in that way, then yeah, okay, I can give you a feature. I don't feel like anybody is obligated to pull anybody or help anybody up if they ain't rocking with them like that.
I can agree with that.
To that you say what?
I can agree with that. But I think if you are an artist and you want to stay and continue to be an artist, it's imperative for you to help the younger generation, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself just becoming a legacy act or living off the one album or a few albums that you had and contributed to the culture. Case in point, Young Jeezy. I just went to his 20th anniversary of TM 101 to watch him perform his most classic album. Gucci can tour whatever, and he's always gonna get a look because he helped usher in the new wave. We would not know no Future, we wouldn't know Thug, we wouldn't know any of them people if it wasn't for Gucci coming in and giving an assist.
We wouldn't know Future if it wasn't for Andre 3000 and Dungeon Family.
No, that ain't necessarily true because didn't nobody know who Meathead was?
I mean, but he changed his name. The same thing with 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz used to go by Titty Boy. There's a lot of people that didn't listen to him when he was Titty Boy.
I love Titty Boy.
We know.
I still
yes.
But they didn't put. But to Byron's point, people are finding out that Future was a part of the Dungeon Family after the fact.
That's true.
Same with the 2 Chainz thing. I mean, some people for the player circle stuff, but
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah,
Go ahead, bro.
They needed somebody else to co-sign them. You know what I mean? And
He's a different type of artist, though.
who, Gucci?
Yeah.
He's a different type of artist than Jeezy.
No, not Jeezy.
I'm talking about them too. And yes, being Gucci, Gucci's a different artist than Three Stacks. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, but to Thug's original point, in his heyday, he, like, when Gucci was at his biggest, he was reaching out and pulling up the young folk.
But he was also doing that to feature them on 1017. So he's doing that, but he's using the young people as acts on his label or under him.
So Jay,
Mm-hmm.
Jay getting when he was getting a little cold, he was reaching in a young pool.
They was
Pulling
also
them up.
They was also aiming to do a different thing. That's what I'm saying. So when you Outkast was from
Jesus tried to do the same thing, but it didn't work for him.
It didn't necessarily work for him. But more so what I'm speaking on is a lot of the artists, like you can say a Master P. Master P had a slew of artists, but that was his hustle. His hustle was to get people, bring them up, put them out, because this is my record label. And I figured a lot of people actually tried to use that same formula. Again, Jay-Z,
They did.
they had State Property. They had, eventually they had the Diplomats on there too. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to use that same formula until Jay became the businessman that he is. I mean, he was telling you, I'm a business.
But you saying that Cass didn't try to do that?
Cass did it with Killer Mike.
I was about to say they did it with Killer Mike.
Yeah.
And not only that,
Purple Ribbon All-Stars.
I think the Dungeon family as a whole was that.
Yeah,
That's true.
the Dungeon family, the situation with them is Outkast got on first.
Yeah.
So in turn
And they
they was
used
pulling
everybody
everybody
pulled
else
up. Yeah.
So, but
Slim Cutter Calhoun.
this is why I
Pimp
don't
Squad
agree.
Click.
This is
Yeah.
why I don't agree with what Young Thug is saying, because he's saying that Andre has never done this.
Okay.
This
I'll
is
give you
not
that.
true. And it's even the other stuff that he was talking about. He said the same thing about Kendrick. Kendrick ain't pulling nobody else up. Nobody gonna be
That's a
bigger than
lie.
Drake. He don't know what the hell he talking about.
Yeah, he don't.
Nope. Because again, I'm going back to 3000.
Good
His
point.
features. He was on Throw Some D's on it.
He was.
Didn't nobody know who he was.
To my
Rich
Rich
Boy.
Boy.
No,
Rich Boy.
Yes, they did.
Nobody knew.
No,
who
they
Rich
knew
Boy
that. They knew
was.
that song
was already
But
hot.
they ain't know
They
him.
knew
They
that.
knew that song.
He
They
didn't
ain't know
have-
him.
He didn't
They
have to
didn't know
give
him.
him that verse.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you even talk about that, and then around the same time, it was the Walk It Out remix.
Walk It Out.
Like, you got to understand, like, Andre extended the life of those records, and they wound up
Yes.
getting played in places where they may not have been played.
Come on, man.
And honestly, there are so many, like, with that Walk It Out remix. Remember, there's like 5 other people on there, and a lot of times we just play the Andre
Man,
verse.
I
That's
only
real.
play the Throw Some D's on it if it's Dre on there, and I only play the Walk It Out if Dre is on there. And these are just 2 examples of features that Dre has hopped on and rode, and you know what I'm saying, did what he was supposed to do. Dre
Ain't
is
very
not the
many
type of
outside
person,
that, though.
but Dre is not that type of person. He ain't even doing Outkast records. he ain't helping Big Boy with none of his solo shit. So you using 3000 as your example of somebody that's supposed to help people out?
Well, I think the issue where Young Thug's argument is dismissed is he said at the height of Outkast, because all of these records we name it are at the tail end of Outkast when they were on the way out. You know what I mean? So
Thug,
these were just random appearances that you saw from Andre, and he's continued to do that from this point forward, from songs with Frank Ocean.
yeah.
I guess my argument for that would be On the Way Out would be justified if those features didn't shoot them records through cannons. So they
those
clearly
records
they
was
clearly
already
was
hot though.
Yeah, but they
These
were not.
records
They
was-
weren't as hot as they were after he got on there.
I don't believe that.
I do.
I believe that.
100%.
I don't believe
that.
it. It just made like Jay Moore said, it just extended the life of the record.
Exactly. So if that hadn't happened, I feel like they wouldn't be being played as much now if they weren't for those features. I want to speak on Thug though, because Thug is his representation of what he expects people to do is based solely on making money. It has nothing to do with being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Culture.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with that. His whole aim is talking about you ain't putting nobody on and helping them make money, this type of shit. And if I don't rock with you, I don't rock with you. That was his issue with Kendrick too. If I don't know if y'all heard that phone call, he was upset because he didn't know if Kendrick was gonna do the joint for him that he reached out to him for. He's asking his guys, do he take money? And his guy's like, nah, he really don't take money like that. That's when he got mad. He don't want to take no. He don't want to help nobody out. He ain't gonna be able to be heard by real motherfuckers because he don't want to get on a song with me. He don't want to get on a song. This is how he talk fast as
Yeah,
he don't want to get on a song with me. He don't want to get on a song with Wham. He don't want to get on a song with Dirk. He naming all these people, thinking that he needs them to get on, and it kind of goes back to the whole situation of when Kendrick brought up Drake. Drake, you run into Atlanta to get these features because they think just because you hot, you're supposed to let me get on the song with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to break bread with you and then we going to get high, we going to trend, blah, blah, blah. Kendrick ain't that type of artist either. So you're talking about two different type of people that I don't need your wave to get on. If I rock with you, we can do something.
It's beneficial for Drake. It ain't beneficial for Kendrick.
Exactly.
But
Look,
let's
all of this comes down to a level of sour grapes, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, it's not that what Drake didn't do for the younger generation and for his city. It's about what Dre didn't do for me.
Yeah, that's real.
Because at this point in the game, if you really do your research and you know who Andre 3000 is and you know who Outkast, the Dungeon Family is a collective, you want to talk about a whole crew that's helped to put people on and put them in position. So at this point, I don't think Dre is obligated to do anything else for anybody. Like I said, you can't even give him he won't rap on his own shit.
Outkast put the whole city of Atlanta, Georgia on.
I'll be honest, we knew Atlanta for R&B and for, booty shake. Like
we heard of Crisscross. Crisscross wasn't claiming Atlanta.
Yeah, but Crisscross
ABC wasn't. I mean, they said they was from Atlanta, but like when Outkast as a whole came out and they went to that Source Awards and they said the South got something to say, that was a turning point.
That was a cultural
in the rap game,
shift.
Period.
And honestly, if Dre stopped, if his contribution ends there, then I'm not saying some people be like, oh, he still needs to do more. He did enough.
Come on, man.
But this is the thing, though, is Young Thug actually is full of shit.
Yeah.
Because when the world was shitting on Thug because he was wearing dresses and, he was putting all these spectacles out over the music, you know what I mean? Him and Future, Andre was the one that kind of stamped him.
Yeah.
He was like,
Andre tell you Future one of his favorite artists.
He was like, look, man, these artists have some of the best melodies that you gonna ever get from an artist. He actually put it in perspective of what they were great at and stamped them and allowed them to get some type of notoriety or a cosign. He gave them the cosign. He might not have jumped on the record of theirs, but he definitely gave them the cosign that they was looking for to make them official in quote unquote hip hop, because at the time everybody was ready to shit on him because it was all mumble rap. Nobody was messing with mumble rap.
Yeah, I've said many times, Young Thug has some of the best cadences, but to me he sounds like somebody is coaching somebody.
Yeah,
so do it like
tracks.
this. Do it like this, but it would actually have different words to it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's definitely done his due diligence and what he's supposed to do. So talking crazy about Dre not helping anybody is crazy.
Long.
It's like, hello.
After everything that you've heard from us, do we miss anything or do you care? Or
if I go back to the original question, which was, is his artistic contribution enough? I don't have anything to add to where the conversation turned into. I think those are both valid points. But, I think more about the community aspect. I think more about the cultural impact that artists can have on their own community and stuff of that nature. So if the statement is, does Andre have some type of responsibility to uprich his community and the culture that's a part of him? I would say absolutely he does to some degree. if he cares about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's important for the infrastructure of community and whatever you're building. It's the same way, like if you have like a local, look, if there's an artist that blows up in Indianapolis and they have not contributed to the culture of Indianapolis DJ music scene at all, do we care? We don't care.
I think that's different. I think it's different.
I think it's
because when we're talking about,
let me finish this point. I think that it is important for people in general to give back to their community. Do I think that Thug is the messenger for this? No, I don't. Do I think it's right to particularly criticize Andre for what he's done? No, I don't. Who cares? He's an artist, right? And I think this is a multifaceted conversation. But brass tacks, I 100% agree across the board that it is important for people that are a part of something to give back to the thing that made them who they are, whatever that may be, and to continually do so as much as they can. Now, whether they do or not to whatever degree I also think is up to the individual, but I'm definitely going to look at certain people a particular way that do contribute more than just showing up and doing an artistic thing as opposed to giving back to their community in actual intention.
Okay.
That's my point, period. So, so that's why I wanted to finish that, because to me, it's not a conversation about Andre or Thug or Andre specifically or what he's done. I feel like Andre probably has contributed here and there or whatnot, so, but to me, that's the more important piece.
Okay. I can agree with that. My bad. No, if you want to say something.
No, I was just thinking about when you talk about Indianapolis, and I've talked about this a little bit before, when Nelly got on and was successful, did he have to go back and reach back and get a whole bunch of people? It would have been nice. But the fact that he brought a level of attention to St. Louis as a fertile ground for hip hop success, that did so much for the city of St. Louis, and still something that, we celebrate. I know it's crazy, and there's all this conflict between certain members of the St. Lunatics and what he did and what he didn't do.
It's only one now because all the rest of them was on tour with him.
Now, part. You're right. But now it's this thing where, like, even there was conflict between, different camps in St. Louis, but now I see them all on stage together.
Yeah.
Whether it be the Jaquans, whether it be Chingies. You fast forward and now, regardless what you think about it, Sexy Red, so there was able to be a major economy based on hip hop, based off one person making it, and he did what he could, but once again, he's still an artist. He's trying to maintain his career. A lot of times we think, okay, maybe an artist needs to do this and needs to sign people. Certain artists will tell you, it's like, I'm not trying to sign any rappers.
Sure.
That is a distraction from my current situation. Like, I'm putting energy into something. Like, if 50 had to do it all over again, I guarantee you he wouldn't have given Game all those records for his first album.
Yeah, because that could have been his second one.
Exactly. So now, you kind of have, for lack of a better term, a blueprint of, okay, if I'm gonna be an artist and I have 4 or 5 years to really do my thing, I shouldn't spend part of that time trying to nurture a bunch of other people's careers. Now, I can give them cosigns, I can go ahead and give them features, but if you're looking for me to sign you and walk you through certain doors, I don't have time to do that. I have to get myself through those doors while I'm still hot.
I think Nelly is the person. I'm coming to you, Lone. I think Nelly is a good example because based off Young Thug's quote unquote argument or comment, Nelly wouldn't apply to that. The reason I say that is because, everybody knew he was him, but the way I hear it in the story, correct me if I'm wrong, he made sure the St. Lunatics got solo deals as well. That, to me, is pouring back into your homies and taking them with you.
Yeah, if some people ain't rocking with you, like, the only thing I can do, like, I mean, we talk about artists giving other artists a shot, and like Biggie had Junior Mafia. Everybody had somebody. Snoop's was Dog Pound. Of course, they had a better success. He had 213 as well. Those are reaching back, pulling people up. I feel like all of these artists that he's talking about, so even if we eliminate, like you were talking about, this isn't a Thug and Dre conversation. This is just a general conversation of artist A came out in such and such area and they're supposed to help people in that area.
Well,
I'll G to that to a certain extent, because if I'm not rocking with y'all, I'm not rocking with y'all. My group as a whole are put. This is who I'm putting on. Like, say I got on.
Sure.
We're on. You know what I'm saying? I feel like our mission and our goal is to make sure that we stay on. And when we cross that bridge, when we can help pull people up, then we cross that bridge. I don't feel like that just because somebody made it from one area, I am obligated to make sure everybody else makes it. I might pick one person that I rock with. And now, okay, you made it. Now, is it his
Yes.
his job to do that? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he does do that. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that it's not an artist's job to do that. He's not the AR. He's not the record company. He's not, unless he's trying to build a record company. If he has a different mindset on what he wants to build, then yeah. But when somebody actually puts on for Indianapolis, Indiana and gets on, I kind of figure, I feel like that a tour would accompany some people that might, you know what I'm saying, open up for them and things of that nature. But you can only do so much for people, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lon.
I think it just depends on like where we're really kind of having this conversation from. Are we having this from a, I don't know, maybe I'm biased in this sense just because of the nature of work that I do, right? And the fact that most of my day today, 4 days out of the week, is literally mentoring.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, I see the power in not even like putting people on, but like creating things for people to get to wherever they want to get to. And so I don't look at this necessarily as like Andre being like, oh, I'm going to get you on a verse or I'm going to do this for you. Cause I agree. Like if I, as an artist, like if I don't want to work with you, I'm not going to work with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To me, it's not about that. It's about enriching the community to give opportunity to people that came up in the same type of area where you're from, or to make it a little bit easier for those that come behind you. You know, it's like it's the plant the seed for the tree thing that you're never going to see type thing.
And that's kind of a different conversation.
And that's what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys took it one place, but I'm thinking about it from a different
Different
perspective.
place,
Like I don't really, because I agree with what you're saying. I don't think Andre has a specific responsibility to do anything for any one person.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think we all have responsibility as something that we care about to put back into the thing that we care about in a particular type of way. If we become a certain level of notoriety, like if I become successful to the point to where people look at me and they care about the things that I'm doing, then I'm going to, my entire goal is to make it easier for those underneath me in general.
It is.
And to me, that's like, is this person's goal just to make sure that they're good and nobody else, or whoever? Do they just want to be the power providers at this point? Do they just want to be the masters in this thing to be able to choose who gets to rise up? Or are we going to give everybody the opportunity? And I think it's just a different frame of mindset.
No, it is.
That I kind of operate from.
The
That's
only
all.
reason that I'm going the direction I'm going is because I actually heard these conversations.
Sure. And
I know exactly what he's talking about.
No, for sure.
When he's talking about Dre didn't help nobody.
I think your guys' conversation was great. I'm just saying that where I'm coming from, I'm just taking it a different place.
At the end of the day, we all know, everybody on this panel knows, I've said this over and over and over again. You whack if you obtain a wealth of knowledge and become someone that is successful and that is looked at, to his point, to Lone's point, and you don't sow any seeds back into those that are coming up behind you. To me, you whack if you do that. You don't do that. So it's at the person's discretion, I guess, is what we kind of talked about. You can choose how you want to do it.
Yeah.
Right? But how impactful is it at the end of the day? Is it setting up a program? Is it teaching? Is it 2 or 3 features? But if you don't pour back into where you come from, you whack in my book. It's simple as that.
The South got something to say.
That's it.
He also said something in the question that was like, is the art enough?
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, it is. You know what I mean? Because
it can be.
Yeah.
Maybe to an extent.
He's birthed people that he's never touched. You know, never spoken to.
I'm one of them.
I think the only argument that I would have against that is, and we don't have to go down this conversation, but it's the deeper conversation within how society works and how we don't value the art. So because consumers and general population doesn't value the art, what are we doing as artists to put back into it so that it kind of skews it a little bit once we become that success?
I say this. the masses don't value the art.
Sure.
You're going to strike a nerve in another artist. You know what I mean? So if you just put the art out and another artist see it, that's enough to strike something in him. And then you got a whole nother thing blossoming over there. Like, I think Smino is a child of Andre 3000.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, all of these are different. Like, all of these people are people that he's touched that he might not have ever known. You know what I mean? And they might not ever say it, but you can hear it when you listen to their art.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. Yeah. Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member. All details on newoldheads.com.
Is Drake exploiting fans? All right. So Drake, he has a well-documented history of placing large wagers on sporting events, often sharing his activities to social media. You know he loves that. Professor Sky, YouTube guy, thinks that this visibility exposes his substantial fan base, many of whom are young and impressionable to the world of high-stakes gambling. Now, I'm a little conflicted. On one hand, it's his money. On the other hand, his reach is pretty much undeniable. However, considering hip-hop's history with material displays, is this really any different from what we've normally seen?
But like, I like it when he's trying to be an artist, but like, I think that's the question. Is Drake, it's no longer, is he hip hop? It's, is he an artist? Because I don't think he is. I think he's an influencer and he's a gambling groomer. And his goal is to get young men into the manosphere and gambling and feed money to his new boss in Australia, and that's his job, and like that's what he does.
Gambling groomer is crazy.
That's what he is. It's crazy, but it's true. Who's watching that shit? Who's watching Aiden Ross? Who is watching XQC? They're all working for the same thing. He's not trying to make art. He's trying to be an influencer, and he's trying to use that to get teenagers to lose their money and make sure that the class divide is as wide as possible. Damn. So that's why and that's not even getting into the court case. I know.
Does Professor Sky's gambling groomer label accurately describe Drake's actions, or is it a overstatement?
It's definitely a groomer, but I'll let somebody else take the...
What you think, B? Jump in there first.
I think he is.
Oh, you agree with Sky?
Yeah, I agree with him, and him wanting to be an influencer. And this is solely because he's not spending his money, man. Mm-hmm. You out your damn mind if you think that Drake is putting up $1 million on whatever gambling debt or whatever. Anytime you hear
he
that,
has, because he has it like that.
I don't believe that though. Even if when I hear people say that Jay-Z did such and such, I don't believe that for one bit. Even if they do have it, I don't think they're dumb enough to really do something like that. You know what I mean? I think it is the companies telling people, like, they even front you that. Look, man, because I know you got it. I'll front you this. And if you lose it, it doesn't really do anything for you. You're not losing no real money, but imagine how many people that's going to pull in just because you did $1 million on my platform. You spent $1 million. Oh, Drake won $50 million by putting $1 million on such and such bet.
It's Vegas at the end of the day. If you win it in Vegas, you get to stay there for free.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to continue to lose your money.
Exactly. If you lose in Vegas, you get to stay there for free.
Yeah. So, I mean.
It's advertisement, man.
Absolutely.
That's all it is, man. I don't believe it for one bit. So, yes, when they say gambling groomer, do I believe it to be true? Yeah.
I think the gambling part is... You got to understand when you're talking about, because he brought up the manosphere spaces. Basically, if you are in that and you have that demographic as people who pay attention to whatever your content is, you're going to get the FanDuel, you're going to get the DraftKings, you're going to get whatever situation out there is, draft picks, whatever. All these things are geared towards young men who are looking to come up so they can become more valuable within the sexual dating marketplace. I know these are trigger words for some people, but you got to understand that's just what it is. Do I think Drake is now a part of that with all this gambling stuff that he does? Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Because I don't know if his quote unquote art or whatever his artistry is, it still clicks with people in the same way that it did. And you could take Kendrick out of the equation. It's just that at this point, Drake is almost 40 years old.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a little bit of grace, just based off the fact that all of these celebrities are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So if you watch football on a Sunday, Jamie Foxx might be promoting his gambling joint. Kevin Hart's promoting his gambling joint. The difference in it is that Drake is invested in this company. So when you go to spend your money at that company and make these bets,
he getting paid.
That's when he's winning. You know what I'm saying? Because he's invested in the company in itself. And yeah, he's definitely a master manipulator.
I don't now the groomer part of it, like that goes.
And the groomer.
I see. The thing is that the groomer part of it, that goes back to the allegations from They Not Like Us.
But it also goes into the fact that he's on these platforms such as Kick, which is a gambling platform with Aiden Ross's and all these people whose audiences are kids.
Yeah.
So he's grooming them to become gamblers.
You know, yes. You know what? Now you put it like that. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I think it's look, I'm one of those people that at one point when I got into FanDuel, I was in it. Now, mind you, it's the analytical part of my mind that just likes to see the numbers move.
Sure.
Like because I'll put in a 25-cent lineup on a baseball game.
Try to win 100,000.
Just so I can see the numbers move. Like, it's not even really about, because it's 25 cents. How much are you going to win?
100,000.
But it's the same thing between 9:30 in the morning, and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, where I like to watch the numbers move in the stock market. So it's a different thing for me. So like I got out of that because it wasn't making me any money every once in a while, but for what I put in, no, it wasn't. But I can think about if I had been introduced to this when
18?
when I was 15.
Come on, man.
I'd be in real trouble right now.
That part. What you think, Lone, about what Sky said?
I mean, I just agree with him. I don't really have much more to expound on it. I think, honestly, I'm more interested in his second part of the conversation is he even an artist anymore?
That's what I was going to bring up.
To me, yes, he is a gambler. He's been known as a degenerate gambler for a while. Sorry, I don't mean to call y'all degenerates, but
you can say
that's
that.
what it is.
But
I mean, you're not speaking as everybody as a whole. You're saying that he's a degenerate.
Yeah, I mean, I think gambling in itself is problematic more so than not. I used to not really see the big deal about it, but
no, it's a problem.
I understand the issues now when I'm a little bit older.
I used to win a little breakfast money on the bus on the way to school. So,
but being said, I think there is a problem in the the intersectionality of all this stuff, like the grooming, the Kick stuff, the fact that Kick is owned by Stakes, how all this stuff is paid. Everything related to all this stuff. Drake's new being on Aiden Ross's stream, live streaming, all this stuff. It's integrated. It's very interesting. His fall off from hip hop in a way. He just did another interview with Bobby.
Yeah. He's very interesting in how he picks who he talks to. But
that was another potential thing. I watched that just because I was curious if there's anything to pluck from. There really wasn't.
No, there wasn't. There's nothing to talk about there.
I don't know. So I generally just agree with the sentiment. The gambling groomer. I'm going to keep it even away from the sense of like the little kids aspect grooming. I'm just going to say from the sense of like the gambling aspect of specifically him injecting himself into these spaces. I think he's an influence of that. So
the only thing that I said was I agree with everything you guys said about the popularity and the power of him promoting gambling, whether he's invested with the company or he using his own bread. Either way, the impact is still going to be there to me. But I wouldn't strip his artistry away from him. That's the part where, when Sky was talking, granted, he's into all this stuff, but I still think at his core or, who he's known for is the artist first to me.
He's an entertainer.
I don't know if I would strip his artistry 100% away from him. I don't know if I'll do that.
I'm going to say, I'm going to take it. Yeah, I'm going to strip that artistry from him.
You're going to strip his whole artistry away from him at this point in his career?
As of now, yes, because he's just not. What he's providing is not art; it's product. Because if he was providing art, it would cater to people of his age demo. He make music for kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's appealing to kids.
Yeah, anything that you hear from him nowadays, that's why he's going to get records with Yeet
Yeah,
Don't nobody
cares.
and nobody at 40 wants to hear no record
Ain't
with
nobody
Yeet.
checking that shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, you just creating product for kids, man, and that leads more to the grooming.
Yeah, his fall off is very similar to Kanye West. Like, I don't care. Like, Kanye can drop and people are gonna check for it regardless.
This is true.
Drake is in the same position that he can drop and people are gonna check for it regardless. But there is a fall off in this shit. Like, you can't tell me anything different, and it has nothing to do with what happened last summer. Once this Iceman album comes out, I'm gonna be able to definitely let you know if I feel like he's either still that dude or if it's just a rap for him.
I can tell you now, just from the records he's released,
Yeah.
he is not that dude no more, man.
Yeah.
I think they gonna land. I think the record's gonna land.
They
But
have
see,
it though.
But see, that's the thing. Like, when you say you think these records are going to land, land to whom?
Yeah, it's
Now,
that. It's
now, if you want to talk about, to his point about, and to what, kind of what we're talking about from an age group standpoint or a target audience, if you will, perhaps that's, y'all might be onto something there. I've always looked at him as someone that, because of his international pop status, he to me has been Teflon all the way up until now. But maybe this is the one, to Terry's point, where we actually put that to the test to see.
Because even we can talk about Kanye, and that's the reason why I bring him up. Kanye has been doing shows over in Asia somewhere. I don't know if it's Tokyo.
It's somewhere in China.
Somewhere in China, you know what I'm saying? He's not the same person that he was, and we ain't checking for him like that. So he's over there doing it. There's other artists from here that have gone on over there and ain't popping shit over here.
Drake is doing the exact
Drake
same thing.
is following that exact same trend right now.
The overseas model.
He's trying to get into his overseas bag and go from there, because we ain't checking for him like that.
He did say that dumbass shit about
they have the
British
best hip hop artists.
I didn't think about it like that until y'all said that.
Yeah, his
That's
fall
fair.
off, and we talked about Dame, Dad. I mean, his fall off is very much way more significant than this. But when you talk about somebody that had the magnitude and the power of a Drake and a Kanye West, their actions are definitely leading them down the path, or already have, of being kind of obsolete, and people are going to check for you just because you're a superstar, but that's about it, and then it's a wrap.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say. He's never going to be obsolete. But he's not going to be the shining star and the darling of the industry like he used to be.
I really think, and this is, Terry hit the nail on the head. This is the perfect project to see where he is, because I'm on the other side. I think it's going to be business as usual. Everything going to be, Drake going to be able to tour off this, do whatever he want to do.
Tour.
And I think he's going to be successful. It's going to move units the first week. And I think it's going to be par for the course.
The first week
really
means
do believe
nothing. First week means nothing.
We talked about this last week.
Exactly. When y'all was talking about y'all was talking about the numbers are fake anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know
that's
what I mean?
Fair.
So,
but what I'm saying is, I don't know if I see, if Drake come out the gate and he has whatever you could say a good metric is for
But let me stop you, and then I'll ask you this.
Come on.
What is the metric for a fall off or a sustainability? Like Byron hinted, he talked about like people our age, the 40-year-olds. I don't necessarily think it's, I know you're not saying it's just 40-year-olds, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we care about the stuff. The people that care about the music and the Drake putting out good stuff, he's just not doing that anymore. So to us, we don't care. But what is the metric of like a fall off versus a not fall off? Because we know that he's going to be continually successful in the sense of making money and being in front of and appealing to the lowest common denominator and the people that want to prop that up and align with that. You know, like people that they are continually saying, "Oh, Drake's the GOAT," regardless off the top. You know, like they're going to continually be there. But what is that metric? What is the fall off metric? What is that now? Because numbers don't matter. Well, we know numbers don't matter.
If you take the numbers out of the equation, which we talked about that, like y'all to y'all point about last week, that does make it more interesting. I don't know how you can necessarily gauge perception, appeal. Good point. I'm curious more about less about the album and more about reception and perception.
See, I don't even care about that because it's not going to change. People are still going to.
So you're saying when I talk about he's still going to be Teflon and it's still going to be received. That's not going to change.
We've already seen that he's not Teflon.
I mean, but I think he kind of is in a way.
I think he's Teflon.
I don't think he's Teflon.
No, he gonna have. Look, this is when he's going to have at least one record that's successful. You heard that with the "Sexy Songs for You."
Yeah,
and that came out this year as well.
You know what I mean? Like every time he drops a project, he's going to give you a record. The machine is going to make sure that you get a record from him.
There we go.
But those albums are going to come and go. They're not going to stay. They're not going to have no staying power.
Which is why the metric is important.
Exactly.
When we
like,
talk
what are we
about
talking about?
the metric, you know, and you talk about perception. The perception, and I'm just going to take it back, Hammer. The perception is that the Hammer fell off after, you know, especially around the time he put out Pumps and a Bump and off the album The Funky Headhunter.
Love that record.
And you know what? The Funky Headhunter sold about 3 million copies. Pumps and a Bump was a gold single, and so was It's All Good.
Talk to him.
Now, by anybody's metrics perception, that's a success, but it was built into people's minds. And when we talk about the history of music, that Hammer had fallen off. That's, you know, to fall off into a triple platinum album, basically.
I take that.
Exactly. A lot of people would take that. But the perception was Hammer had fallen off. He was out there dancing in the Speedos and trying to be somebody that he wasn't. And after that, he never got it back. And that's messed up because, once again, you sell, if you get two gold, if you get 2 gold singles and you are multi-platinum, by any metric, in any situation where you are, it doesn't matter what genre of music you are, that's a success. But it's just because in our minds and what had been built into the culture, we perceived Hammer as a failure going forward.
Jump in, B.
And to his point, the people didn't say that Hammer fell off. It was the media.
It was a narrative that was created. He was still the Hammer at that time. He just switched his style. He hadn't been the one that fell off yet.
But there was a perception that, like, he was desperate with the Funky Headhunter. People weren't feeling it.
I do remember that.
But when you look at the metrics of, you know,
it didn't go diamond like
it didn't.
Too legit. Hammer is different from Pumps and a Bump.
Yeah,
but
way different.
But the fact that, like, it only sold 2.5-3 million records, like, people can frame that narrative as, Hammer's a failure now.
That's when he went to
by any
death row.
other metric, Hammer is at 3. You sell that many records, you're still somebody is a viable talent. But at that time, the perception was, get Hammer out of here. We're not inviting him to nothing else. He's done. I'm
still on the Teflon side, y'all. We gonna see. This is what we always say. We gonna see.
No.
But I would on the Teflon side.
I would have told you Kanye was Teflon at one point in time, and I've been proven wrong. And I don't rock with Kanye no more.
Yeah, which is a big thing to say.
That's a huge thing to say.
I think my metric for him has always been the same. So it's like it's just good music. And like, I don't care if he has a single that's good that works for the clubs. I don't care if you put out a 22-track project and you got one that kind of works. I don't give a about that.
You
man.
threw a whole bunch of shit against the wall and some stuff.
No, give me like, are you? So it goes back to the artist piece. Is he an artist? Nah, man, he's a product. He's literally just creating product. He is not creating art. He is using art. He's moonlighting as it because that's what he's known for, and he's throwing it at the wall. He's an influencer at this point.
Wow.
That's what he wants to be. That's exactly why
he goes get
every one of his interviews is with an influencer.
Yeah,
because he's
Aiden Ross
at this point he's trying to figure out a pivot.
Damn,
because
man,
if he can't meet the same success that he did, everybody ain't rocking with him like that.
Even Kai Cenat didn't like his new stuff.
Yes,
he called it ass.
Man, I watched that clip. Probably 10 times because I couldn't stop laughing at it.
And you talk about something that's big. When a kid like that says that,
and
he was pissed off.
And I don't give any stock to Kai Cenat's opinion on music
about anything.
But at the same time,
you know what I mean.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He was mad, livid.
Y'all are really making some good behind the scenes points about stuff that I did not think about from an influencer standpoint. Because to me, it's hard for me to hear somebody say, I'm just going, being a creative and being an artist. Like, if you strip somebody's artistry away, it's like, nah, man, you gotta make me believe that just off the strength of being a creative. Like, I'll fight for stuff like that. But
that's why you should know.
No, I know, but
what I'm saying?
But what you guys are saying is triggering the other side of my brain to be like, don't get it twisted, Mike. And then you guys are saying what you're saying, and I'm like, damn, I ain't think about it like that.
Yeah, it's not to say that he can't rap or that he can't make a record.
To your point.
He just doesn't care to.
And it has nothing, to your point, it's about the care and the want to.
Maybe he
I honestly
can't.
think he's trying. I think he's trying and he don't got it. That's why I compare it to Kanye. Kanye is still trying.
That's true.
And it's gone.
Because he's trying to make hits.
It has left the building.
Because he's trying to make hits. He's not trying to make records.
He doesn't have it anymore, man.
See,
that shine is gone.
See, Kanye's put out a lot of bullshit. I don't think Drake, I'm sorry, he's put out a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, he did.
But I ain't going to say Drake has necessarily put out bullshit to the level of Kanye, but
listen,
I think it's trend.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I mean,
listen, this kind of goes to okay, let's say that he did have a lot of people writing this shit for him, right? And he's trying to figure out how to catch that same lightning in a bottle by doing it himself. And it's not working. I think he is trying.
Maybe he is. I mean, I don't know shit. So
maybe it's all speculation. NewOldAss.com for all the education you need this year. If you see it, like it, subscribe to it. 5-star ratings. Hit any bell you see for notification. And don't forget to check out our Patreon where you can get our unedited full episodes. We appreciate your support and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.